Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Today, it's a great pleasure to have my colleagues, Doug Rawson and Paul Calori, join me. We set this time aside on a monthly basis to, in effect, reflect over the previous month, the successes, the wins that we've seen and heard of, and a good time to share some of this with our listeners and our audience. So, Doug, um,
Well, we
sorry
should
about
have
that.
we should have did the dry run, eh, Marks? And I knew I was going to be going right off the hop.
Well, it's not the first time. We tend to do that between ourselves, just throw each other under the bus, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, I tend to get thrown more often than not. But welcome, guys. What a good month we had. I listened to yours and Paul's weekly education sessions. I think we're making great traction there. I think the conversations we're having is getting clearer. I think the feedback we're hearing from people is getting more clear. And thanks to you guys for really taking the ownership of that and helping us grow. I think this past month, we covered a lot of really important details that we find on a roadmap. And I know we're starting to talk more about a roadmap, which you can find at weedville.tips. And the roadmap just goes back and re-articulates some of the key pieces that we've been talking about through the success path. And we've talked about be clear and be aware and be informed. And the roadmap is that piece. And the part that you two guys have been doing with your weekly education sessions really brings that home. So I know from listening to them and as you know, we repurpose those into our podcast, and our podcast is coming out the week after that the education sessions are done. Really resonate quite well with our listening audience. In addition to that, the other one that I find has been a really successful component and something that I think we should all sit back and reflect and recognize the importance of our growth is really the other sessions that we've conducted, and that's really, Mark, your informational sharing sessions with consumers. And everyone is a little different. Everyone has a different spin or a different takeaway. And we can go back from the start of time and really reflect on all of the participants and everyone that's really shared their story. But there's usually some similarities with them. And to me, the similarities that I've recognized or I'm seeing in them is supportive networks, supportive systems, family, and people that are part of the consumer's journey. And really the ownership. It's the consumer themselves that have really taken the ownership of their healthcare to move forward on the path. And one thing I really appreciate is, on these sessions, quite often we'll get some recognition and some applause from the participant. And Mark, I really like how you turn it back and you really say, we're just a bystander, right? They're the ones that did the work. And I think we can't minimize that we're just sharing the results that people shared with us. And I think it's pretty powerful and empowering that their stories are actually impacting tremendous amount of people. And when I, again, look back to the last month, your most recent one was with Corey, and Corey's story is pretty powerful. And just this whole impact and what we've done with that has just been tremendous. And when I go through some of the episodes that you guys have done in your sessions, from a roadmap from health to wellness to what are the therapeutic effects of CBD and therapeutic effects of THC, and Corey's story, like, we've covered a lot of positive ground that I think you guys should recognize and know that you're doing a good job really getting the story out. So I don't know if anything resonates with you on those presentations and stories that you've shared, but some tremendous work here has been done in the month of February. And Mark, one of your last sessions that you've done was, hey, where did New Year's here and where did February go? Like, we're already into March. Like, how quickly the time is going. So that's kind of what I see right now, guys. And I love the bite size that we're providing. It's just good work all around.
Yeah, Doug, I would agree with absolutely everything that you have said. And it's all about encouraging those that are listening if they need to be encouraged. Sometimes just a little nudge to bring them back on track and give them that little boost for saying, yeah, I'm going to continue the course. And we're seeing that, we're hearing that. And that makes it all worth the while for us to do that. So as much as the listeners are benefiting for themselves, or that they can share that story with someone that is dear to them, what I've come to recognize from speaking with those clients or those consumers is that they are really happy and feel fulfilled to be able to share some of their journey, maybe the reluctance to even move forward, and then the hurdles or the stumbling blocks or the bumps in the road along the way. And then they talk about their support system and how that has helped them through that journey. But at the end of it all, you see, or at least I have sensed, and some of them have actually acknowledged this, that they feel like they're able to contribute. Now they've gone through that. They're able to share with others and really contribute in a positive way to those that are listening. So tremendous, tremendous value. And Doug, we've talked about this so many times, and I believe it will be part of the discussion later on. But what these tools have done for us, so being able to stream, is being able to really remove borders, remove even barriers, expand our reach. So everything that we have learned over the last many years, we're able to bundle that and share it in a very effective manner. And as you said, Doug, not only are we reaching more people, we're able to repurpose that and submit and turn that into our podcasts, which many people have commented on those as well, and the ease of use. And now even a further tool where you get weekly kind of summaries. I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on that, Doug. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And I'm really happy with where we are.
Yeah, Mark, if I take another shoot off that, the outreach piece has been phenomenal. The connection piece has been phenomenal. And Paul, the weaving in the content. And, I like how even on our latest episodes, the first one of the year this year, you talked about SMART goal and establishing SMART goals. But that thread isn't like we said it the first week during January and then we forget about it. It's a building block, and we're building each block on top of each other, and we're really weaving these pieces in. That, remember a few weeks ago we talked about SMART goals. Well, the week we're talking about titrating, the week we're talking about documenting, the week we're talking about journaling, they all layer on top of each other, which is further adding to the content, but also one's ability to move forward with their care and really move forward down that path. And I really like that stepping stone is really given the confidence to be able to move forward on their journey. So again, that's something that's well done and well articulated. Sorry, go Paul.
I was just going to go back a sec. One of your initial thoughts on our thanks, and there was something that just struck me as you were talking. And you know what? The true thanks is to the person, the consumer, putting the work in. So there's no doubt about that. But one thing that struck me as interesting, and as you know, from the background and things that are happening here at Weedwell, is the idea of asking for help, something you've never done before. And it could just be a request between myself and Mark, or myself and you, Doug. And just removing that barrier of, I don't understand how to do it. And we always say, stop, put the brakes on. We've used number of analogies just like that, but the ability to slow down and actually put your efforts, the consumer that is, or in this case, me, to where they're best suited, and you actually accomplish the task. So the person's not working anymore harder, bad English I know, but they're not working harder, they're working smarter, as the saying goes. And perhaps the thanks comes from just framing stuff in our roadmap, which is exactly where we go back to. No, you need to be clear first before we worry about CBD next. And just framing it like that, it might not resonate with the consumer at step one, but if they're able to take themselves back and circle back, then things begin to make more sense. And all of a sudden you go from little success or no success at all to profound success. And it's like, thank you guys. But it's just removing that barrier to where are your efforts best put, And maybe that's where the thanks comes from. It's just something that crossed my mind as you were talking, Doug. And tying that into the roadmap and why each step, and you mentioned as well, they build off each other. And so if you don't have that foundation, wherever that is on that roadmap for you that you might be, we'll say lacking for lack of a better term, but it's just not there yet, let's say. You put the time in at that step and you have that base, that foundation, and you can build up from there. So I just wanted to piggyback off of something you had started with there, Doug.
Yeah, and again, guys, lots of good work's been done over the last month, last year, last couple of years. But I love sitting back and listening to you guys with your episodes and sharing the information with people. We've really doubled down on our ability to reach with our live streaming. As you know, we're broadcast this on our Facebook channels, and we're growing our Facebook group. We have a closed Facebook group, and we invite everybody. If you're watching this right now and you are hearing about it and you want to join our group, you can visit us at weedwell.group. Come to the group. Last week, we've had 182 people sign up to join that group, and it's an opportunity to work and collaborate and hear from others and share ideas and learn about others' struggles and tools and tips and resources that people are using. And that's what that platform's for. So it's really an opportunity for you to work with others to be able to help you with on your journey. So weedwell.group is where you can come to that resource for that. In addition to that, like we mentioned, we're putting out all these episodes are being repurposed and put on our podcast. You can find us on Apple, you can find us on Google, you can find us any of your favorite podcast tools. So do find us on your favorite podcast channel. Subscribe, follow, share, let your friends know. Again, a lot of these topics we've talked about are routinely there. But on to this week and this month, we've really doubled down on our educational efforts and getting the word out. And I'm going to go back, Mark and Paul, to what's our goal? What are we here? What are we trying to do? And really, we're trying to reshare the stories and testimonials and be the advocate for our consumer improving their quality of life. And we're really driven to improve 100,000 people's lives, and those lives of people that are suffering from a chronic medical condition, and improving their quality of life with the safe use of cannabis as a treatment option. And that's really our drive. And I know, Paul and Mark, some of the work that we have done in the last few months, we've really been going on our own personal journey. We talk about transformations all the time and transforming people's healthcare through a lens of getting clear on their health and establishing goals. Well, we're doing that organizationally as well. And I would say one of the things that we're in the midst of doing our transformation, maybe we'll have this in place for our next one next month, is Paul, you and I are sporting some Simcoe wear right now. We've got a sign behind us. Probably next month we'll just be sporting our Weedwell attire and signage. That's, we've been working on this for 2 years, but a lot of the things that we've done over the last couple of years have really been on the educational component and what we're doing with our online piece. But another one I'm really excited about, Mark and Paul, is the last few months we've been working in forming and creating partnerships. And I know we've got a guest with us here today, and Mark will get you to introduce in a second, but really the last couple of months, it's really been on formulating relationships with the mindset of how do we make sure that business continues and that people are still well served and well valued and well treated and well taken care of, but that it's the right expertise that allows us to focus on what we focus on. When I say we, that the three of us can really be focused on, we'll call it the educational component, and that I see us transitioning away from the one-to-one clinical care. And that's where we sunk our teeth. That's where we got started. That's where we learned the stories, learned everything that we know from the consumers we've helped. But I think we're at a point now where we're starting to look at the transition of the care of the consumer, and I would say from the people that we serve from Simplistic Health, and that we're now moving into an educational realm that we can really start to help 100,000 people improve the quality of their life. And this relationship has taken shape over the last several months. And I think now is a good time to let's talk about it and introduce Justin and what that's about. Mark.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, and Justin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so Justin and I have been working closely together for a great number of years. Myself specifically, probably around the latter part of 2013. And we've seen this industry evolve and change. I've learned to really see Justin as a pioneer in the industry. He's developed, or he's earned the utmost admiration from myself for his dedication. I'll call it the space. He's become a real advocate in that area. He has collaborated and supported many different groups. And Justin, I'd be happy if you were to share some of that, at least at a high level. And we've seen a lot of changes. We've developed relationships in a couple of different ways. And here we are today. We've done a full circle. And we are today happy to say that we've closed that circle and rekindled a relationship of the past. This relationship is going to be better, stronger, all with the focus of providing the utmost available service to all of our clients and consumers. And as I said earlier, removing some barriers, even borders, to expand our reach. And in order to do that, we have to be able to look and reflect what are our strengths and what are not our strengths, and really leverage from others that have complementary strengths that could really add to that area that is in need of some additional help, if you like. So in a nutshell, and we're going to engage more into this conversation, but Justin, welcome. And if you could just kind of give a brief overview of, where you've been, what you've done, and then we'll talk more about the collaboration and partnership.
Yeah.
So Justin.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for having me, guys. And so my name's Justin Whitehall, and I'm the clinic director here at Avail Medical Clinics. And I have been in the cannabis space since 2012, operating under all four sort of program umbrellas. And I think together, as Mark shared, our clinics have evolved over the last few years. I think this last program's probably been the most difficult, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of opportunities for collaboration, and that's where Simcoe and Avail over the last few months at least have been working closely right in the clinic sort of space together. And we do have quite a history going back, many years between the three of us. And I'm more than happy to help assist in any way that I possibly can. And using Simcoe and Weedwell's education platform for our existing patients, I think is really important. And having that continued collaboration with an organization like Weedwell is really important to us, and we're really happy to have this ongoing relationship, and as that gets sort of heavier or more intertwined, should so to speak, I'm happy to sort of let the world know what those finer details are, and yeah, it's a great relationship, and I'm really fortunate and thankful that we have it going on, guys. And just to give a brief sort of background, Avail Medical has been in existence for about 2 years now, and we sort of I would initially, the patient base started as the local Tweed Main Street shop, and then as that sort of ended, we transformed that patient list into a multidisciplinary sort of health clinic, and started offering many different services, including walk-in clinic services, exclusive services for military veterans is something that's always been really important to us. So really catering to some of those specific groups has been something that we've been focused on over the last couple of years. And but I think that education piece is where Weedwell helps us out the most, and we look forward to continued collaborations, especially in terms of education for military veterans, and really offering that multidisciplinary environment for all the patients of Simcoe Holistic Health currently.
Very good, Justin. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, really everything that we are doing here is client centric. So we're really putting the client in the center. That's the focus, and recognizing, as I said already, each other's strengths. We felt that this was best. And we've heard from many different sources that the education and support that we had been giving and continue to give at Simcoe Holistic Health, now Weedwell, was second to none, really. And we've really, since about a year ago now, put a lot of emphasis in doing that, and providing different media to be able to reach the patients and provide education in a different format. As much as this was part of our plan, COVID gave us the nudge to say, now's the time. And so it wasn't a complete surprise or new thing at the time. It was, okay, this is the time to do that. So we have closed the brick and mortar location here in Barrie, and we are 100% online. And with what you're doing there at the walk-in clinic, Justin, it really does complement what we're trying to accomplish as well, and that is patient care. Those who know me would always recognize me as being someone that is all about removing barriers to care. Justin, even in our relationships from the past, and Doug and now Paul would know that anything that we can do to remove those barriers to care, who's getting who? Those clients or patients have already gone through the hoops countless times. And the last thing we want to do is add more hoops for them to go through. So anything that we can do to, remove the hoops, make the path easier, then for me, I would call that success. And I believe that my colleagues would agree.
Mark, I echo everything you said. I just want to put a small plug in here. As you know, this week we're actually in the midst of doing a launch for our signature course, The Path to Be Well. And we have a fun little giveaway. And if you can go to weedwell.co/giveaway, so it's weedwell.co/giveaway, you have an opportunity to get a prize in our giveaway of the signature course, which has a value of $837. And there's a chance to get more ballots by sharing it, liking it, put it on your profile. So if you go to weedwell.co/giveaway, there's an opportunity to participate and get some ballots for this draw. We'll be drawing that on Friday of this week. So again, weedwell.co/giveaway, and you can participate in that. Mark, I agree on everything you said. One thing I'd like to hear a little more from Justin maybe is, you said two things, Justin, that I think would be of value to the audience. And one would be really your work with veterans, and really, what does that look like? I think you offer an up-level level of service that really is root to the core of what you do, and it's really about that partnership component.
Yeah.
You can maybe talk more about that. And the other thing I think would be value to everybody is if you can talk a little bit about your walk-in clinic. Who's that for? What kind of services offer? Can anybody go?
Sure.
I think there's some good things you can give people that people may not be aware of.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to dig a little deeper. So in terms of some of the exclusive veteran services, right now we have a pain specialist on the team who's able to authorize more than or write a recommendation letter to request for Blue Cross to increase coverage all the way up to 10 grams per day. So that's something that we've always been really proud of, to be able to offer that extra coverage for them when 3 grams hasn't been enough. Some of the other programs that we offer are we don't have any costs for medical documentation, for insurance, or medical aids for military veterans. Right now, we offer referral services and some basic pensionable or awarded condition guidance. And if we can't, usually we just end up referring it to one of our close support group networks that always has an expert on board. So there's a lot of exclusive services, and we have also applied for ethics approval on a PTSD study exclusively for veterans using cannabis oil, and collecting or providing that those levels of data are really important to us, which we feel will overall reduce stigma going forward for cannabis use in PTSD specifically. And a lot of the services for veterans in the walk-in clinic do sort of intersect, where that's, for example, if a veteran's been recently discharged or put on or retired for medical reasons, and they don't have a family doctor due to COVID, we can help facilitate sort of an interim contact with the physician at least, and then always ensure that it's the same physician, so it can be the closest to a family doctor patient relationship as possible. And I'm heavily involved in a couple of organizations or groups related to military veterans. So providing that extra level of support is always been something that's really important to us. For example, COVID-19 bonuses for veterans to receive hand sanitizer and gloves and whatnot for up to $200. So there's a lot of little specific things that we have or resources that we have access to, and we can help facilitate for veterans. And we're happy to sort of take that to the next level. And then in terms of the walk-in clinic, right now it's we have our location is inside the Grove Street Pharmacy on Grove Street in Barrie, and we also have a location up in Aurelia, but mostly patients these days are connecting online or over the telephone. So those services are available to anybody looking for simple prescription renewal or some kind of simple diagnosis. There's many services that can be provided even over telemedicine or the telephone with the physician. So we're happy to provide that support, whether it be interim support while their family doctor is on vacation or what have you, or if they just don't have a family doctor and need some kind of access to medical care, they can get a referral requisition. Mostly, I believe up to 75% of consultations can be addressed online. So we're seeing mostly patients across the province connect online, but that's one of the most important, I think, services that we're excited about offering to the Simcoe patients, and continuing to offer the Weedwell experience with the path to be well, I think is really important to us as well, and sort of expanding that together in a couple of different ways. We're really grateful for.
Justin, great work you're doing, and thanks for sharing that. How would someone access you and your services, whether they're veteran or walk-in service? What's the best way to reach, and how would they connect?
Yeah, so the best way to reach out is online. Checking us out at availcannabis.com. If they're interested in the cannabis intake, or if they're a veteran, for example, just click on the cannabis clinic tab, and that'll bring them right to the online intake form. If it is a walk-in clinic service that's needed, then just click on the walk-in clinic tab. That'll bring you to the online walk-in clinic intake, and once those forms are submitted, no downloading or printing required, then that automatically prompts someone from Avail to reach out to schedule a telephone or video appointment for the patient. So it's quite easy, and we like to we like to make things as quick as possible. So we're offering either same or next day appointments through the walk-in clinic, and also cannabis appointments are available on Mondays usually, so weekly.
Wow. That's really good, Justin. I think all good value add components that you spoke of. And just for clarity, walk-in service, if someone wanted that service, they would access it on the website, availcannabis.com. They'll go to the walk-in tab. They're gonna wait weeks for an appointment. They're gonna get one the next could be today, it might be 3 days from now, but in the next couple of days they should have an appointment. No cost to them. And right now we're geographically limited to Ontario. Is that all true?
Yeah. So
Okay.
for the walk-in clinic, mostly it's Ontario. Now for cannabis patients, we are able to see patients across the country. We have a lot in British Columbia, veterans especially. But except for, I believe, Quebec and Alberta, we're not able to prescribe for. But other than those two provinces, we have patients in almost every province. Wow.
Very good. Justin, I just want to say on my behalf and our team's behalf, the work we've done for the last several months now has been we've been really talking since September on what a collaborative relationship and partnership could look like, and I just appreciate the depth of where this has gone. And really, it's been from everyone's interest. It's been not a self-centered, selfish approach. It's been how do we serve more people and help more people, and how do we put our best foot forward and best efforts forward. And I think we've together come up with a plan, a strategy that's going to serve more people and help more people. And I just want to applaud you and the work and the effort that's been put forward on really making this a win-win for everybody, with the consumer at the forefront of that. So just a high level thanks for that again.
Appreciate that.
And again, we're here as a partner, and everyone that's listening and hearing this today, Avail has really become our clinical support. And when I say our clinical support, the patients that need clinical intervention, medical support from a physician and the team, Avail is really providing that behind the scenes for us. And we're just at that part of the evolution of the relationship. Just say they are the clinical support and we're going to become the educational support. And really, that's kind of how we've delineated what we're doing. And we can't be any more proud of where that's progressed from. So back to the month, everybody. A lot of stuff has been done. Mark, we started this a minute ago saying, what's the month been like? We started by talking about our live streams and some of the content, but there's a lot of work that's done behind the scenes to really get us to where we're going. I know earlier today, Mark, you're talking about some of the assets that's been published and some of the work we're doing. Like, we've up-leveled what we're doing. Mark, you're going live now 2-3 times a day. Months ago, you're saying, just tell me what and I'll go live. And we started, guys, last August saying we're going to commit, and once we commit, we're going to do this. And we did last August saying we're going to do our weekly sessions. And I'd say we've done more than our weekly sessions now. And we're staying on message. We're accomplishing all the key things that we committed to do. And really, we're all here to really help improve people's quality of life. We're all committed to do that through our own little compartments, our own little niches, how we're doing that. This week, as we said a minute ago, we're launching our next signature course, The Path to Be Well. A lot of work's been done on that Path to Be Well. We're actually hosting a webinar, and our webinar will be this evening at 7 p.m. and again tomorrow at 10 a.m. And this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to learn more about the Path to Be Well and how they can get involved with the program. So we welcome people to participate in that. Paul, would you mind just going over, like, what is the Path to Be Well, and maybe just give a high level understanding about what would somebody get if they were to come and take this program? Like, what is this course, and what would I get as a participant in that?
The path to be well. You'd actually receive a lot of things, Doug, but let's break it down into baby steps. Really 5 steps, if you will. And for those of you who have followed us along and followed Mark along as he's been on Twice Daily and whatnot, you've heard things like be clear or be aware or be progressing, be informed. All these things have meaning and contribute to the path to be well. And each one of these sections, we'll say, have milestones that contribute step by step to the whole, your path to be well, your improvement in wellness, improved quality of life. We'll start at be clear. And this is at the start of the conversation, I talked about just being able to put the brakes on. And we often talk to consumers and clients, put the brakes on. You've been suffering from this pain for years, or this anxiety, depression for years, and we know you want a quick fix. But let's put the brakes on for a minute and gain clarity on exactly what it is that you're trying to treat. Quite often we'll find clients and consumers having one thing in mind that they're looking to treat, and as they peel back the layers of onions, they find 2 or 3 things are actually going on. And we want you to get clear on what's going on with you, we'll say from a health perspective and a condition perspective, but as well as your medications and why you're taking them, what you hope to accomplish from them. And so this clarity is the milestone for be clear. And this can be empowering because it's going to help make you, we'll say, a better patient, that is a better advocate for yourself and your health care. But it's also going to springboard into be aware. The milestone for be aware is developing a SMART goal. We talked about this shortly after New Year's in the context of New Year's resolutions. And a lot of them will fizzle out weeks later or months later or whatever. But the SMART goal, we'll say, has a lot of parts to it that help prevent from being derailed. And so everything in Be Aware is going to contribute to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, your SMART goal. Often, or previously, we've talked about the person that wants to walk to the mailbox. I've mentioned the person that wanted to go fishing with their grandson. This SMART goal has to be important to you. So once you kind of frame your Be Clear, that is where you've been and where you're at right now, your SMART goal is kind of your path into the future, your path to be well. And once you frame that SMART goal, that's your accountability piece. That's something you want to work towards. That's something that's going to satisfy you. And that's why it's a key part of the step on your path to be well. Be Informed comes next. This month, we've had a couple discussions regarding topics in Be Informed, specific to CBD and THC and how they might help or hinder your ailments, your conditions, your symptoms and whatnot, and how they would fit into a treatment plan. Along with that, in Be Informed, we talk about different methods of consumption, as they will have potential positive or negative effects depending on what it is that you're trying to treat. And so you take the all about cannabis part and the all about how you're going to consume it part, and we actually have a milestone in Be Informed of making your own treatment plan. And so you have where you want to be, your SMART goal, and you kind of have your path or your adjunct of how you're going to get there by the end of Be Informed. Be Progressing now really speaks to the person who started cannabis treatment, if you will. And it's all about cost analysis to cannabis, because there is a cost to it. But more importantly, how to start and adjust your dosing based on how you're feeling. And we'll give you tools like health journals and really explain to how they fit into a treatment plan. But you're really honing in on listening to what your body is telling you, and really trying to circle in on that right dose or that right way to take cannabis. And that's your milestone from Be Progressing. And finally, Be Well is the last module, and what we're looking at there is comparing and contrasting your health journey. And so for this, it might exist for a person over the course of weeks, over the course of months, but you're really looking back to where you are, your health selfie, and be clear, the picture you painted of yourself, and comparing where you are today. And hopefully that's better. It might be the same, hopefully not worse, but all of that is an evaluation tool, because what happens next is you can cycle through your path to be well and kind of restart again based on where your new self is. And so really Be Well is about going from a state of health to more wellness. And we really talk about that, the path to be well.
Paul, thanks for going over the path. And again, we're having a webinar. Everyone's invited. The webinar is held tonight, so that would be Tuesday, March the 2nd at 7 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. And if you can participate, you'll hear more details about the path. And we're going to give some idea on how you can register to participate in our next launch of the program, which starts in 2 weeks. So March the 15th will be the start of the path. So hopefully you can join us. If you can't make this evening's, the next one will be tomorrow, Wednesday, March the 3rd at 10 a.m. You can access the registration link for both those at our website, weedwell.com/webinar. So weedwell.com/webinar, and we'd be happy to have you attend those sessions. Anything to add on the path, Paul, that was missing that you wanted to identify or remark? No?
I'm good here.
So we have a lot of tools. Looks like I may be frozen. We have a lot of tools that's available. We've talked about these a lot, and they're available at weedwell.tips. So if you find like right now you're not quite sure if we've got the solution for you, if it's the right idea, or if it's just right for you, if you go to weedwell.tips, there's all kinds of resources. So right there, Paul was talking about journaling, and he was talking about SMART goals, all these tools and templates that Paul has talked about. And again, we talk about them during our live stream and our podcast. You can find them at weedwell.tips. If you ever go to that spot, you can find all the tools and resources that you need to be able to move forward. There's one document there. There's two that I really like. One is the roadmap, which we started a little while ago. And the roadmap is really to help you self-manage your care using some of these tools and tips and resources to move you forward in your healthcare journey. The other one I really like, guys, that we've done a lot of work on is our manifesto. And I want to reference one part of the manifesto. And the manifesto is basically comments, terms, quotes, feelings, thoughts that our consumers have told us. We've kind of put them into categories. We've bulked the likes together, and we kind of came up with themes. And we have, we have several themes throughout the manifesto. And I want to share one today, which I think really resonates to what the path to be well is about, but it's also about what our relationship is with Justin and Avail and what we're doing. And really, this one really, I think, is encapsulated even on the guest speaking episodes that you've done, Mark, over as well, whether it's Karen, Corey, and others. And it's really, I'm thankful for my relationships to help support me. And that was really evident that as we move forward in our own personal health journeys, or business, or life, or school, it doesn't matter what it is, we can't go at it alone. And we need to have people in your corner supporting you. And Paul, you said this in one of the episodes a while ago. You said one of the things you found really paramount that is kind of a similar piece on most people's journeys is really that supportive mechanism behind them. And I would argue that the path to be well is not meant to be a one-size-fits-all solution. You take it and all the world's troubles are going to go away and your chronic conditions are going to disappear. That's not what the program's about. The program's really about helping you get clear on your health condition, like you identified, Paul, and helping by giving you tips and tools and resources to move forward on your health journey. And your journey is your journey. It might take you 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years to get there. It doesn't matter. It's not a race, but we want you to make forward movement on your journey. But as I reflect here, when we're all here talking around this virtual table, I think about our relationships and the work that we've been doing behind the scenes on how we can serve people. And I really reflect that on this manifesto about I'm thankful for my relationships to help support me, because we need that support. Again, whether it's what we're delivering to people and help support people on their journey or individuals' journeys, that's really what this is all about. And it just goes back to what we discussed here a little while ago, that this relationship and where we are and where we're going with Avail and you, Justin, is good for everybody. And I really value the relationship component, that we're both committed to the consumer's journey. Mark, I saw you do a shift in your chair. That usually means you're ready to say something.
With all the years that I've known Doug, very, very observant. When you think he's not paying attention, think again, because he will show you wrong. There's a couple of things, Doug, and where the person is really reflecting on the support to help them in a journey. But really, that same person who recognizes that is really the one who's doing the heavy lifting. That is the person that needed to recognize perhaps where they were and where they wanted to be, and make some steps, perhaps make some sacrifices, some changes in their life to be able to really become an advocate for their health. And it could be that they were in a rut, in a routine, and finally one day they're at a crossroad. And we've had some clients share exactly that. They're at a crossroad in their path. They can go left or they can go right, and left is not a good place to be. So fortunately, they choose right. But once they do that, they need a support system to be able to help guide them and encourage them, and even in some cases hold them accountable. But at the end of the day, the one doing the heavy lifting, the one that needs to be determined, even perhaps making changes and sacrifices along the way, is the champion in the end. And that's the person who's made those decisions, those choices, and will benefit and reap the rewards for that. If I've made this sound simple and straightforward, those people would tell you that it's not. And we've come to recognize that it is a journey. There's many bumps in the roads. In some cases, there's mountains that you have to go around or climb over. But with a support system and your medical professionals that can help and guide you. So you need to, continue to be transparent with your treating physicians or other medical specialists and share your journey, what's working, what's not. So don't take this on your own. They're there to help you, and we're there to do the same. And now with Justin and Avail, we're just stronger together to be able to get you there.
Mark, as you were talking, I was actually going back and reflecting. As you know, I think about all this stuff all the time. I'm trying to think about what's next. And I was actually reflecting on 2 episodes we've done in the past. One was with Joe and one was with Francis. And both Joe and Francis previously served in the military, and both of them talked about resources and support and how it wasn't available. And I'm going to go back to what you were talking about a few minutes ago, Justin, about how you're really up-leveling the service and really fine-tuning the delivery of good quality medicine and therapeutic intervention for anybody that wants to consider cannabis as a treatment option. Really, your expertise is on the clinical end, but you're offering that to any and everybody that wants to think about cannabis as a treatment option. But another layer of expertise that you add on to that is for vets. And I'm wondering, maybe a future episode, and this is just spaghetti against the wall, guys, maybe we talk about having a vet session. And maybe we invite someone like Francis or Joe or someone else in your network, Justin, and we talk about what are the barriers. Like, let's sit back and let's listen to the barriers, and let's come up with some strategies on how maybe we can approach a bridge building episode to try to say, hey, this is some opportunities, but maybe this is an opportunity where we can start doing some of this outreach through a forum like this, where people can participate and put in their comments, and we can really hear what those issues are. So then we can even go a little deeper on what it is we can offer. Just as I've been hearing everything we're talking about, it's just a thought I was having about that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Doug, earlier today, or earlier in the conversation here. And one fact that I did leave out, unfortunately, I'm glad Doug just reminded me, is that Avail now has an official veteran ambassador. So his name is Jonathan. He's a great guy, and so he's officially on the team now, and he's kind of our boots on the ground face or voice to the veteran community. And mainly because he's instantly able to sum up or break down some of those barriers or restrictions, and we feel that veterans tend to feel more comfortable with one of their own, and he can really speak their language and get to know them and their needs on a whole different level. So that's why we brought Jonathan on board. We're very happy about that, and we'd be happy to have him come on and myself and really have a little powwow of how we can get some additional services for veterans or what's really in need. And I'm really looking forward to meeting all of the veterans that are associated with Simcoe Holistic Health and shaking their hands and thanking them for serving our country.
Well, Mark and Paul and Justin, I think we had a very good discussion today. I think we covered a lot. I think our move forward is we're all here to help serve even more people, and we're stronger together than apart. And really, that's kind of the takeaway, is we're all here to really make everyone's journey a little better. I'm just going to end with my part here by saying we're looking forward to our launch of our Path to Be Well program. There is a fun giveaway we're doing. If you go to weedwell.co/giveaway, you would be able to participate in this. You can share it, and the number of ballots depends on how much you want to participate in the giveaway. So go to weedwell.co/giveaway, and you can work your way through that. We are having a webinar this evening and tomorrow. You can register for that at weedwell.com/webinar. Lots of work have been done over the last several months, everybody. It's really, really empowering sitting back and watch all the work and all the efforts that is now coming alive. Things we've been talking about for a long time. And I know next month when we're together, we're going to talk about another really cool thing that we've been working on that hopefully we'll be ready to talk about next month. So lots of good work's been done. Thanks to everyone for what they're doing. And that's my parting comment. You're muted, Mark.
Yeah, Paul, do you have any parting closing comments?
I'm good here.
All right. Well, then I will. So a couple of things. One of them is to be in this space, you need to be certainly flexible and open to change, because as we've touched on already, and Justin was saying, 4 different regulations back in 2012, 2013, there was one source for your cannabis that was government grown, or you would grow on your own. And look at where we're at today. There's been a whole slew of changes along the way. And today, most are able to speak more freely about their use of cannabis, because it used to be that you would only speak about this in almost privacy, but now you hear more and more, and that's a good thing. So more patients, even in the demographics of 65 plus, are considering cannabis, and they're being supported by their peers. So that's a good thing. We've seen a lot of changes. We are growing, we're expanding, and we're learning. So sometimes we trip, sometimes we make mistakes, but that's okay, because it's all for the better good. And one thing that I'm really excited about, and you heard me say a while ago that for me, removing barriers to care was at the forefront. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be surrounded by Doug and Paul and Justin, because I know that they share the same passion. And really, it's always with the client, the patient, the consumer at the center of everything that we do. So going back to what we said earlier, together, united, we're stronger. We're able to expand our reach, remove barriers, remove borders, and ultimately provide a overall better experience for everyone that we serve. So I'm really excited. This is a huge milestone today, and one that we can build on moving forward. And I look forward to the evolution and more opportunities to get together like this and be able to share with our audiences. So on that note, to everyone, thank you for joining us. Until the next time that we meet, be well. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, everybody.
I'd like to take this time to share with you how I first became interested and then involved with cannabis as a medicine. My name is Mark Tremblay, a founding member of Simcoe Holistic Health, Ontario's first medical clinic dedicated to the treatment and care of those patients considering cannabis as an option. As a teenager, I did sample marijuana and quickly concluded that it simply wasn't for me. I'll admit I did find myself judging those who did consume weed, thinking that their sole motive was strictly to get high. It wasn't until many years later that I discovered the true medical benefits of marijuana. A loved one was diagnosed with MS. After many months of symptom manifestation resulting in sleepless nights, I witnessed firsthand how cannabis can help alleviate symptoms and improve sleep. My eyes were open. My interest further increased. As a result, Simcoe Holistic Health opened its doors in 2013. Since then, our clinic has operated under 4 Health Canada regulations and served nearly 6,000 patients ranging from ages 3 to 93. I have personally witnessed countless individuals and families who experience improved quality of life. Having said that, I've also observed that cannabis treatment is simply not for everyone. As we continue to grow and expand our reach, Simcoe Holistic Health is rebranding to Weedwell. For more information, visit us at weedwell.com or follow us on our social channels. Till the next time, be well.